Good evening, everybody. On behalf of Professional Development Committee of the Western India Regional Council, the Institute of Cost Accountants of India, I welcome all of you for the webinar series of UPSC ICoAS preparation for newly qualified cost accountant. Our today is the 8th session on method of costing, single output costing, job costing, batch costing, contract costing, process costing, service costing. Our today's speaker is CMA Rashmi Mudgal, ma'am. She is a FCMA fellow member of the Institute of Cost Accountants of India. Also, she is a MBA Finance independent director, and now she is a practicing cost accountant. I welcome ma'am, and now I request ma'am to kindly start the session, ma'am.
Sure. Hi everyone,
Thank.
good evening. I have been thrilled to give this webinar to you. I have been practicing since more than 5 years, and I have experience in cost audit as well as in the indirect taxation. So today I am going to deliver a small subject that is method of costing. And I believe that you all are qualified cost accountants and you must know the subject I am today taking. I'm just taking you to a little practical way as well as a little brush up for your future endeavor. So today we are looking for the method of costing. I would like to share the screen. Okay. Okay, we are today going to take the method of costing. Method of costing makes to everyone.
Correct. That's not a question. ICoAS. So.
Is PPT is visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So today we are taking webinar over method of costing, and believe that already you know
Ma'am, please
what
share the
costing is.
screen. Ma'am, please share the screen, ma'am.
Yes. I am sharing the screen. Sharing the screen. This PPT can be seen?
Yes, it's visible, ma'am.
Okay. So
Okay.
I believe that you're a cost accountant, you must know what exactly the method of costing. But today I am taking you to a little revision, and I'm really excited to do this. I encourage you to actively participate and ask questions whenever you feel. Firstly, the method of costing is based on two things. Two things are the specific order costing and operational costing. They both are categorized between two things. This specific order costing is the specific order costing is each and unique characteristics output goods are suitable, but in operational costing it is basically suits for the mass production. Mass production when the goods are identical to each other. But the specific order costing is where the costing method, each cost unit is different from the other. For example, if I am going for a furniture, I will definitely gonna take the furniture as per my requirement, as per my map of house, how much space is in my drawing room, how much sitter sofa I wanted, what color I wanted. That goes into the specific order costing where I wanted a different material for my own needs. In operating costing, it is mass production operations where the goods and services involve continuous production process. Here we actually go for the operation costing. How it works when all the costs are associated in a certain process and charge them before further spreading to the total cost. It is basically the production of pen, production of pencil, which is somewhere identical to each other. We can be a specific to some production, but it will be into the big quantity. So in the operating costing, we take the techniques and we take the methods where the operations are more in the mass product. Costing, batch costing, and contract costing. And operation process costing, unit costing, and operation costing. So today we are going to discuss these subjects where we are taking examples where we need to take the job costing and where we need to take the batch costing, contract costing, process costing, unit costing, and operation costing. First, we are going to discuss the job costing. What is the job costing? Where it came? The job costing is the cost accounting method designated to help companies to track the cost involved within the production of individual product or job. The job costing is related to one particular good, one particular job. Each job is assigned a job name to ascertain the actual cost incurred for each job. So it is like, for example, I go to a furniture shop and ask them to make a furniture into a red color or into a blue color just to match with it with my walls and everything. Or maybe I wanted a three-seater sofa. The factory has seven-seater sofa. I wanted three-seater sofa because of my small drawing room. So they will ask me the price after calculating the job cost. How it is taken care with the job, how it is personalized, a special characteristic is there, and there could be a small request from me to actually calculate the job cost. Printing press, furniture. You can see here everything is related to a small order and a small quantity. It can be one or a little bit more than one, but it is not mass produced. It is basically depend upon the order I have received, as well as I wanted to see here what is the cost I make to do the specific job. So job requirement. We can take the job sheet, example of job sheet. It is not a particular method. It is not the statutory obligation to make the job sheet. You can make it as per your own requirement. You can take it to the vertical, or you can take the format into the horizontal format. There is no need to think of the obligation of this job question. It is an example of one. Here the job number is there, the department, I for taking, and for we are keeping it, the date initiated, the date completed, and unit completed, so that we can actually calculate the job costing and the number of days or of hours we have spent on this job can be has been taken. So we can see here the only costs are part of this, because I the over the period of the time I am taking the example. Example is job number 58 passes through the department. The following information is given regarding the job required. Calculate the cost of job number 58. Hello. Yes, Priyanka. Okay, so there is a small problem I have taken into consideration for the example and practical approach, where job number 58 passes through the three departments. First, material hour for job, direct labor hour for the job. 1,000 hours has been spent over this job. Rate of the direct labor hour is ₹1. Sale of scrap of material. For example, I have taken into consideration that 8,000 rupees का मुझे material issue हुआ है. I have which I have sold. Total overheads for the department is for this job, and total labor hours for the department is also 10,000. So we can see there is a ₹1 per hour is the total overheads. Other overheads are here. In the same department Y, material issued for 1,000, direct labor hour for the job is 2,000, and rate of direct labor per hour is 1.5 rupees. Sale of scrap material is 150, and the total overheads of the department is 15,000. The labor hour for the department is 30,000. So here also we can see, if I divide it 15,000 divided by 30,000, there is a 50 paisa per hour rate. In the department Z, the material for 500 and direct labor hour for job is 5,000. Rate of the direct labor sale of scrap is 100 rupees and the overheads is 25,000 for 40,000 hours. So we can see there is only 5,000 hours has been spent in this department for this particular job. We will allocate the cost only for the 5,000 hours. So I will take you to the one Excel so that we can solve it. I have made this small job. Okay, so as we can see the problem of material issued in X, Y, and Z is available. Direct labor is available on every department and labor hour rate per hour is available. So today I am taking you to the material of department X. Scrap material is 1,000. The scrap is also sold. So I cannot consider, because I have made an income out of the material, I need to deduct it from the cost because I have made an income out of this. Am I audible to everyone? Okay, can anyone participate in the same query so that it will be great to understand, because 8,000 was my firstly total cost of raw material, but I have already sold the scrap value of 1,000. So we can see here that I have material issued for 8,000, but I have sold 1,000. So this means I job. Next is in department Y. I have spent of material is 150. So here also I will take 1,000 minus 150. Here I can see the calculation that I have issued the raw material of 1,000. I have sold the scrap of 150. So I have spent only 850 for the same material in the department Y. In the third department where I have issued for 500 rupees material, but also sold the scrap of material in 100 rupees. So here also I will see the 500 cost of material minus scrap value of material sold will be here. So I have spent direct material of 8,250 in the all three of departments. Now comes to the direct wages. Direct wages is related to the hours. So we can see 1,000 already rate, labor rate has been given. So we can see here, and 1,000 multiply with rupees 1 is here. Okay. And next is how many 2 hours A, and the rate of per hour rate is 150 rupees. So 0.5 into 2000 hours I have spent here. 2000 hours I have spent. It is 3000. Okay. Next, in the department Z, the hours I have spent is 5000 and per hour rate is 2 rupees. So here also I will say 5000 multiplied by 2 is equals to the price will be 10,000 for this department. In overheads, again I come to the overheads. The total overheads of the department is 10,000 and the total number of hours is 10,000. In department hours we can see total hours हमारे कितने हैं is 10,000 and total expense हमारा है यहाँ पे 10,000. So we can see the expense overheads per hour is 10,000 divided by 10,000 again rupees 1. And in this department, how many hours we have actually spent is 1,000. So we can here multiply it with the hours. Hours for this job is 1,000. So the total overheads will be 1 multiplied by this 1,000. It will be total overhead in department X. Say in the department Y, I will say department Y, they have spent 15,000 of the amount and 30,000 is there is the hours and 15,000 is amount. So again we will divide the amount. We can see here that 50 paisa per 50 paisa per hour is the cost. How many hours has been spent on this second department? We have spent 2,000 hours. So we will calculate it with the 2,000 total cost will be 50 paisa into 2,000. That will be this will be the department wise overheads. In department Z overheads, we can see the cost has been spent 40,000 and the cost is 25,000. So by this we can actually calculate the amount per hour, the overhead per hour we have spent. Now the overhead is 40,000, sorry, 25,000 and the hours we have spent 40,000. In this same department, the job has taken 5,000 hours. So as per the 5,000 hours, if I calculate, I will see the overheads in the department Z is 31 to 25. So I will calculate the overheads here by this 1,000 for department X, $1,000 for department X, as well as department Y is also 1,000 and department Z is 3,125. As we calculate the direct material and direct wages, we can get our prime cost by this. Deducted, we got the total cost of job is 27,375. So here I can see the job number 58 has the cost of production in as per the job costing is 27,375. Is there any questions in this problem? Am I audible now? Am I audible now? Is there any question? Loop. Okay. So now in the next session and in the next slide, batch costing is. Batch costing comes from the little bottleneck problem or maybe the machinery's capacity. There could be possibility the raw material capacity. There is a small funda after batch costing. There is a constant where we can make one product in this batch. It cannot be less than that. It cannot be more than that. Batch costing typically used for the mass products again, but it can be modified as per your own requirement. For example, if I go to the some schools, they may have asked from the factory owner to make the bags with their printed name. So in their printed name, they can ask for the minimum quantity order. So they can ask them ki we can make the order, but you have to order at least 1,000 bags from us. So in this batch, because we cannot make less than bags out of it, but we can make as per your requirement, but we have to make into batches, and batch can be a number which cannot be altered. Okay, so the production process is divided into batches, and the cost incurred during the production of each batch are recorded separately. In every batch, we see how much labor hours has been taken care, how many raw material has been taken care, how much electricity consumables has been consumed in the batch, and we actually divide it out of the quantity we have produced in one batch, so that we can actually calculate the cost of product in one batch per unit. How we come to know this thing, the batch cost, how the batch costing works. Firstly, they take the raw material, they start processing, they start assembling, they actually do all the quality control and finished goods. Batch is contains from end to end process. It is not the part of one machine, two machine. It is end to end process where raw material entered into the factory, as well as to finish the goods, to finish goods stock, or maybe to the sale. So here we actually take end to end process and see what is the cost incurred in between, and divide it out, divide it with the quantity produced in per batch. So this is how the batch costing works into end-to-end product. Now take an example of the batch costing also. Suppose a bakery produce a cookie in a batch of 1000 units. To determine the cost per cookie business, calculate the production budget for the entire lot, which include material, labor, and overheads, then divide it into the 1000. So we can see here the production with the material, with the labor, with the packing cost, overheads, everything is rupees 7 per, because we have seen that 7000 rupees has been incurred into end-to-end process. This actually enables them to adjust pricing and production quantity according to the better profitability. And as we can see, cookie it yes, yeah. Huh? Okay, okay, let me see. Okay, so how the process batch costing works. Firstly, to we actually decide the batch size. What is the capacity of the company? What is the machine capacity? What is the bottleneck of the company? We actually determine the batch size that we can make 700 product in one batch, or we can make 100 meters of cloth in one batch. So we determine the batch size. Then we decide number of batches organization. For example, one day we can make one batch, or we can make two batches. So if we are able to make two batches per day and we are operating 300 days in a year, we actually can run 600 batches in the all positive manners. Okay, so if in all the factors remain same and we are able to make 600 batches and in 300 days, we actually determine the associated cost in every batch and overhead distribution. Then we make a preparation of the cost sheet hum banate hain, and then we calculate the cost as per the batch sizes. So we actually calculate the cost as per batch, because we wanted to know कि in अगर मेरी मशीन एक बारी चली तो how much cost it will take and how much production it will come. This is related to my batch costing. What is the difference between the job cost and batch costing? First difference is batch is a little large number or identical good, but the job costing when each product of the batch is unique. Here both are different into the number as well as identical as well as different product uniqueness of the product. In the second thing, we can see cost of calculated as per the batch or a group of product. But in the job, we actually calculate as per the job and order. Batch costing, fixed cost per batch unit we produce, we actually put it into the batch. But in the job costing, we go with the variable cost basis. No fixed cost has been associated in the job costing. Batch costing is beneficial when economic of scale is exist and it reduces the overall cost per unit. But in the job costing, it is this row is not there. Yes, it is actually give you the accurate cost of allocation per job because of the customer requirement. See, business designs जो होते हैं, they actually track and analyze their cost differently as per their requirement, as per their management decision, as per their actually business. Because in the same pharma doesn't work on the job costing. Even the things comes with the flow. But in the batch costing, we can go with the pharmaceutical company because they make some kind of medicine in the batches. They are not going to make one capsule. So they actually go with their type of industry. Next comes with the process costing. Next comes with the process costing. How the process costing works. The method where one product go through different processes. It can be 2 or more processes. The cost is assigned and charged to individual process. For example, one process can be one can process a good which is also vegetable oil, paint for the team, flow team, assembly of department, even the shipping receiving department have separate processing cost associated with this production. As the inventory moves, though each stages of development, each department may add its calculated cost to the overall process costing of the product and goods. Okay, the product process costing when it comes, why it is suitable. Firstly, so it is suitable for the industry when one process produce a good which can be sold in open market as well. It can be taken as an input of the second process. How it works, we can see here the input has been put into the process 1 and the output of process 1 is input of process 2. Again, the process 2 makes one output which can be taken as an input of a third process and it will become a finished goods on the third place. Okay, process cost is suitable for the industry, product is continuous and the end product is identical. Again, it is a mass production. Also, the entire process of production is standardized. But means this machine will do the raw material sorting, second machine will do the peeling, third machine will do the cutting, fourth machine will do the packing. So we can make these machine as a process. First process will be the second is cutting, third is packing. So here the process is first process output will be the input of second process. Also, we can see here in these processes there is a loss which can be normal and it can be happen and which has already been estimated. For example, it is normal loss. It is 1%, 2% will be definitely gonna be scrapped in the process one, and it can be in the second process. It can be done. Okay, so normal loss is associated with the process account, but abnormal losses are charged to the P&L directly, not to the individual process. We can see in one example, we can get into the process costing by this. A manufacturing company's product passes through two distinct processes, X and Y, and then to the finished job. So we can see here there are two processes, one is X and second is Y. It is known from the past experience the wastage occur in the process as under. In process X, 5% of the unit entering to the process, and in Y, 10% of the unit entering into the process. So we can see here the five, whatever comes from the process X to Y, it will be deducted by the 10%. The scrap value of the wastage of X is 8 rupees per 100 unit, and process Y is 10 rupees per 100 unit. So we can see here in the process X account, firstly we can see a unit of 10,000 has been entered with 0.5, 5,000 material, 6,000 wages, and manufacturing expenses were 20,000. And we can see here that the price of 10,000 unit, 5% is 10,000, 5% is my 500 units. Is process X, total cost is 20,000 minus value of scrap 500 with the 500 and 9,500 normal production. This is the 2110 approximately. So I can see this cost per unit. Okay, so this is the solution of the process X account, where I can see that 9,500 2.10 price and amount is 19,940. Okay, so if I have sold these amounts, I can see here the process Y is going to get 9,500 output from the X process. Here also I will scrap the 10% of the product. Again, I will go with the price of the 19,960. What is the price of the process X? Will come here and becomes the material cost. Again, the material and wages and manufacturing expenses has been incurred here, and it becomes 28,960. Again, the 950 product 950 has quantity has been sold at the price of 0.10, as I calculated 10 rupees per 100 unit. So it is 10 paisa per unit. So 950 is 95 rupees. Abnormal loss has been given here, which is 169, and output of the transport is 28,960 minus करके मुझे मिला यहाँ पे 3.30, which was become an abnormal loss, and it is a balancing figure. It is a balancing figure. So there is, I have charged process X and process Y, where we can actually take care of the processes. Why we do the process? Because we can see how many percentage of wastage is doing every process. There is a competitiveness which can be taken care into this accounting. Is there any question with this practical question? Okay. Next is difference between the batch costing and process costing. How it is difference from each other. Firstly, batch costing is a end-to-end process when the raw material has entered and converted into the finished good. But process costing is every process has a different costing, and before finished good there could be two, three, or more than these processes which can be calculated. Batch costing is also identical products, services that can be grouped into one batch. But in the process costing, it is standardized and subject to continuous flow of the project. Costs are accumulated to each batch, but this is for the each stage of production. In the batch costing, each product and service is uniquely identified, and each one is different homogeneous mass production which can be taken care into the account. Now comes to the next. Is there any question into the process costing? Again, I'm starting the contract costing. Okay. So next is the contract costing. Contract costing has two people. One is contractor who actually do or perform the job, and one is contracting who give the job to be done. Okay. In contract costing, contract is made between two people where specific job order are undertaken for relatively larger time frame. It is more than for 12 months. Mostly it takes a year to complete, at least a year to be complete, and it can be more than a year. The billing for the same is done after the completion for the each milestone in the contract. For example, if you will complete the 50% of the building, I will pay you this much. If you will complete 50% of the company, I will pay you the construction, I will pay you the 40% of the contract. So there is a milestone which need to be achieved. Where to apply the contract costing? It is an application job costing. It is actually a job costing application, but we can see here the unit large and time take to complete is long. Contract costing widely used for the construction industry or civil industries. Here, type of contract cost. There are three types of contracts. One is fixed cost contract. Whatever happened, the fixed cost contract will be there, that the price of the contract will not change after completing the contract. It can take 1 year, 2 years, the foreign exchange can change, the cost of material can change. It is static contract and it doesn't change. Here the cost is fixed for everything. It will not variate at the time of inflation in any extra material requirement or anything else. These static contracts which are to be completed within the time frame, quality may get hampered because of lack of flexibility. For example, if you want me to make a building and the cost of material has increased by 100%, I will definitely gonna cut anything from the quality of anything else into the building if I wanted to make, because you are not going to give me the extra amount. Here in the fixed cost contract with escalation clause, what escalation clause is, where the specific increase or decrease into the material cost or maybe anything into the contract can give you a little extra money to increase the contract price. It helps to give a little flexibility to the contractor, and inward cost change beyond the acceptable percentage, definitely the contract cost will be changed. Okay, cost plus contract. As the name suggests, it gives you a flexibility of the costing. You are provided make a construction, make a building, and we will give you 10% of the profit over your cost. So what happens? It involves a very good quality of work where the contractor is able to do more job at a good price as well as at a with a good quality. So as the name says, the cost plus contract give them good quality as well as the as well as to the contractee that the quality work has not been hampered due to any constant. Okay, so this is contract cost. Is there any question into the contract cost? Okay, let's move ahead to the unit costing. Unit costing is the largely accepting costing which has been taken care with the company because of ease and so many factors. Unit costing is actually a total costing where fixed and variable cost has been incurred and divided out of the total unit of produce. Total in the period, whatever the period is. Okay, so unit cost actually used for the manufacturing industry mostly. It can be used into the service industry, but mostly it has been used by the manufacturing industries where fixed and variable costs are divided by total number of unit. The unit cost of product is calculated by the all the expenses incurred, whatever it is, and has been taken into the consideration for like for 1 quarter I have spent this much amount and this much quantity I have produced of the goods. This taken for the unit cost we actually take. Industries where unit costing method can be implemented. Most of the times it is implemented where the simultaneously homogeneous products has been manufactured. It is a simple method of costing employed in the industry where production is continuous, uniform, and is only the single product or essentially one product or two or more grades. We can see here production of pencils. So every pencil will come out of the factory is normal. We can allocate the cost as per the spends as well as we can see here that it is easy as well as we more accurate also here, but it can be taken into the consideration. It can be only for the smaller period. Importance of cost analysis, why we actually need the cost technique here. Firstly, we can control the cost as well as management. We can see if my sale price end May is less than my cost of production per unit, I can control here maybe the cost, or I can increase the price also. Pricing and profitability decision can be taken here also. Budgeting and forecasting, previous data can be taken into the consideration when I am making decision for the future. Identifying the cost driver and efficiencies, I can see where which machine is the bottleneck for the company, or which machine can be capacity, which capacity can be increased if I wanted to make certain number of the products to get my profitability. So here these are the importance of the unit cost analysis. Here I can see it is easy also, it is accurate also, but for the short period, and I can make more decision out of this. Next is operating and service costing. Next is operating and service costing. How it comes into the operating and service costing? It is majorly known as service costing, operating costing, but we can see here it can be used for the purpose of calculating the cost of service, not for the manufacturing. All the cost I have told you before, these can be used for the manufacturing of goods as well as for the services. But this operating services or service costing, operating service costing is only can be utilized for the service industry only. It serves a variety of purpose, making presentation powerful tool for convincing and next is characteristics of the operating costing. What is the characteristics? Firstly, the intangible products are there. We cannot see what input has been taken care while we are providing services. Collection of cost data, how to get the cost data. If I'm not able to see the service, I'm not able to feel the product, I'm not able to see what ingredient has been put to provide this service. Unique and standard services, everyone has a different kind of services. They make a final snipe and small things to make it comfortable, and there are so many things. If you see, if we can go to the spice jet or indigo flights, we can see there is a smaller space. And if we go to the Air India or Vistara, there is a space which is given to us a little more. So both are services, both are providing us services, but both do have a different kind of standards. Less working capital. Working capital is required less because we don't need to buy the raw material and keep it into the production cycle, and then we can get the money from the creditors, and then we will pay, sorry, debtors, and then we will pay to the creditors. So working capital requirement is less. Cost per unit calculation can be taken care, but unit is very different. We can calculate that unit can be very different with the every service will different. Internal and external services are there when we provide with some, for example, if I go to a restaurant, they provide me food as well as service. So internal service and external services, mixed services are different here. Cost classification by behavior. The behavior of business defines the cost classification. We are going to read it in other services also. There could be uh, areas where cost can compare with the services. Periodical and order wise computation. Periodical and order wise, we can see that how much time the service is taking place, and order of services are also there. So we can calculate it in this manner also. Majorly, we can see the services like hotel, canteen, hospital, transportation. These are the major services we look after in the service operating costing. Is there any questions till now? Okay. Okay. Each of these services is uniquely involved in variety of different type of overheads. They do have a different type of expenses. When it comes to the transportation costing, they do have a petroleum, they do have a servicing of the vehicle, they do have a depreciation of the vehicle, they do have a maintenance of the vehicle. There could be possibility they keep the extra vehicle for the emergency. Don't take the raw material as the same of the transportation. The power generation has their own uniqueness with each organization. The power generation of the is different. What you are taking from the solar, or you are taking from the water, or you are taking from the coal. This is also here. Boiler house costing. Boiler is also providing the electricities. Canteen costing. Canteen cooking the food or serving it. They do have a food as well as serving, as well as providing you as per your requirement. Not every canteen serve the same food like every pen writes, but every canteen has a different foods and everything. Hospital costing. Every hospital has a different costing. We can see the hospital has single bed, double bed, general departments, as well as their costing depends upon how many doctors are sitting there. There is a different type of medicines which is given to the different patient. So these are the costs which are different from each other. Hotel costs, the type of room they are providing, the geyser service, the hot and cold water, the tea, the coffee, the slippers, the towels they are providing. So they have a different kind of raw material as well as expenses as well as services in the department of every service. So in the service, every business is different. There is no hard and fast rule for every cost sheet. Always we need to think what can be the price. Is there any question till now? Okay. So these are some examples for calculating operating cost. Water supply per kilometer. Like if I need a water per kiloliter will be the cost unit. I calculating the cost of separated per meal. Everyone per meal. आपका dinner का cost ये है, आपका lunch का cost ये है, आपका breakfast का cost ये है. पड़ता है एक staff का. Per staff कितना हो सकता है? Road maintenance also per kilometer. Street light per lamp or per point. Per lamp, how much cost it's taking for the lighting up the street. Next is boiler house per 1000 lbs. जितना भी आपका इलेक्ट्रिसिटी जा रहा है उसके लिए. गैस पर क्यूबिक मीटर और पर किलोग्राम. Private transportation per kilometer, per hour, per trip, and per passenger. These are the four parameters where we can per kilometer how much cost it incurred. Per hour, because of the traffic, we can see the auto is still working in the auto meter is still increasing in the traffic also, because the cost per hour also taken care into the account. Per trip, how many trips I have taken from one place to another. If I am going from Mumbai to Rajasthan, what is the cost to go from Mumbai to Rajasthan per trip, as well as round trip. Per passenger, how much cost a passenger takes. If I'm taking a trip and 7 passenger into the vehicle, how much per person cost will be there. This is also a place to understand this. Nature of service, one more. Hospital per bed per patient day. Per bed can be different. That general bed having 10 people in one room, 10 beds in one room, the cost will be lesser. Per patient per room, one room. There is a small garden with the room. This is also per patient per day, how much cost is being incurred. Hotel industry per room per day, per room per night, per bed day, because the cost of the day is different, the cost of a night is different, because bed day is also there. Electricity per kilowatt per hours. Per kilowatt per hour. Entertainment and cinema per ticket per show. But there is also a per hour per ticket per show. Boiler house per cubic centimeter liter. Passenger transport per passenger kilometer per passenger mile. Good transport per ton per mile per quintal kilometer. These are the operating cost examples. Is there any questions?
Any other questions? Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, if there is no other question, then we will conclude the session.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you
Okay.
very much, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you
Okay.
everyone for being there. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Okay.